All right, Baker, you asked for it. Oh, yes, Mr. Disney. Oh, you bet. Yeah, you bet. We have that request here. Uh-huh. Oh, say, Walt, that's fine. Yeah, I'll be right over. Well, my friends, that little episode there took place several weeks ago. It was a result of this letter here from Mrs. Martha Dobbs. She watches our show on WNHC in New Haven, Connecticut, it says. Here's her letter. Dear Mr. Baker, I have often wondered how some of the period pictures turned out by Hollywood could be so historically accurate, even to the minutest detail. Surely there must be a great deal of research to get such genuine results. Could you show me how moviedom tackles this job of research? Sincerely, Mrs. Martha Dobbs. Well, Mrs. Dobbs, I tell you, the entire staff and the facilities of the Walt Disney Studios were made available to us to answer this request of yours. Now, Mr. Disney phoned that day to invite you to one of the most prodigious research jobs in motion picture history. And that was tracking down the real story of Robin Hood, because you asked for it. Arrived at the Disney Studios, I found Walt, Perce Pierce, his producer, and writer Larry Watkin already at work, seated around a desk piled with books and manuscripts. It was decided that no shred of information on record would be overlooked in bringing the real story of Robin Hood to the screen. At once, the Disney staff began an arduous task of sifting through endless books, papers, scraps of songs, and traces of legend that had accumulated over the centuries. From the British Museum, from university libraries, from private collections, even the ancient ballads of Robin Hood's time were brought forth and examined. The ballads that were sung from village to village by strolling troubadours, the newspaper reporters and historians of their day. But despite this mass of historical data, what must be learned of the spirit of Robin himself was not to be found in the glades of Hollywood. So the Disney forces headed for England and Sherwood Forest itself. This is no movie land set, but the famed Major Oak in Sherwood Forest. Here, the ancient village church at Edenstowe, where Robin and Marion were wed. These are Sherwood's limestone caves, traditional hiding place of the outlaw band. From countless photographs such as these were pieced together the authentic designs for all the castles, the villages, the very spirit and pageantry of 12th century England. Here, the Tower of London, as it was in Robin's day, reconstructed carefully from ancient engineering and architectural plans. Nottingham, one of England's great cities of today, is far different in appearance than when it was a quaint Midland village of centuries ago. But intensive and honest research once again brings it to life, with the same charm and bustle that often coaxed Robin out of nearby Sherwood Forest. A welcome addition to Disney's expanding research staff was Dr. Charles Beard, historical scholar and an expert on the mode and the manners and the customs of medieval England. Authenticity was not to be sacrificed even for the comfort of the ladies. No zippers, said Dr. Beard. And no compromise for beauty's sake either. These hooded affairs, known as a caul, were a cover-up for milady's hair. Disney research men collected authentic 12th century combat equipment, an eighth of a ton to a man, enough of it to outfit a battalion of medieval GIs. Even the horses typical of Robin's time and place were sought. Not Hollywood cow ponies or Arabian stallions, but English hunters of a breed familiar to the period. The prodigious job of research was near its finish, save for one important question: who would fit the role of Robin? The ancient ballads had said Robin was nigh from 20 year, his brow marked with the sign of adventure. Walt Disney insisted with his typical honesty that the role be given to a man who was Robin Hood's modern-day counterpart. Richard Todd was chosen for the role, an ex-commando youth whose own boyhood was spent in Robin's old haunts. Immediately, Todd began readying himself for the strenuous role. His instructor was Rupert Evans, England's outstanding authority on ancient and medieval combat. At last, the real story of Robin Hood was ready to be told to the world. The director gave the signal, and then...
Advance my banner! God wills it! God!
Had moved across the years between, closing the gap between the 20th and 12th centuries. Yes, out of all this endless research, as though by magic, was born again the dauntless spirit of a man who always fought against tyranny and oppression.
A dynamic Robin Hood, an authentic Robin Hood.
Well, there's your answer, Mrs. Dobbs. Yes, sir, inexhaustible research is what makes a picture like the story of Robin Hood a classic work of art. Mr. Disney spared no expense or effort in order to have everything exactly authentic. Now, Mr. Disney plans to release this picture, the story of Robin Hood, in July. It's a full action picture, as you know. I want to thank very much the Walt Disney himself and his entire staff for making it possible to answer this request of yours. And to you, Mrs. Dobbs, back there in New Haven, Connecticut, I'd say that we have again seen an example of how attention to detail brings perfection.